Now imagine this. You have something important to say. You can feel it sitting in your chest, waiting to come out. Your heart is beating fast. Your hands feel unsteady. And you keep replaying the words in your head, trying to get them just right. And then a thought stops you. What if no one listens? What if I'm too young? What if my voice doesn't matter? So you stay quiet, not because you have nothing important to say, but because you're not sure you're allowed to say it. This is the reality for so many young people. We grow up hearing phrases like, children should be seen and not heard, or wait your turn. Or we hear, you'll understand when you're older. And over time, those words do more than silence us, they shape us. They make us question whether our ideas count, whether our experiences are valid, or whether our voices matter in the spaces around us. And for a long time, I believed that. Growing up as an Indigenous student in Montana, I often felt like my voice and the voices of other Native students were overlooked. I've sat in classrooms where our history was barely mentioned. I experienced stereotypes being ignored instead of corrected. And in those moments, silence became normal. When you feel invisible long enough, you start to believe maybe you're supposed to be. But at the same time, something in me knew that wasn't right. The first time I spoke publicly, I was 10 years old. I stood behind a podium at a school board meeting. My hands were shaking. My stomach felt like it was tied in knots. By the time it was my turn to speak, I was terrified. My voice trembled, and I could feel every eye on me. For a moment, I thought about staying silent, but I spoke anyway. After I finished, I looked up, and people looked like they were actually listening to what I had to say. That moment did not make me fearless. It did not suddenly make everything easy, but it changed something in me. It showed me that even a small, nervous voice can matter. So, how do you go from feeling unheard to becoming someone who uses their voice intentionally to create change? The first step to understanding and using your voice is understanding your purpose. For me, my purpose came from my experiences. It came from feeling unseen in classrooms. It came from wanting better for the students who would come after me. It came from mentoring youth who were trying to find their voices. And through that, I realized that using your voice is hard. Your purpose does not have to be impressive. It does not have to be perfectly defined. It just has to be real. Because when you know what you stand for, your voice becomes clearer, it becomes stronger, and it becomes harder to ignore. The second step is direction. Once you know what matters to you, you have to decide how you want to share it. Your voice doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Some people speak on stages. Some people start organizations. Some people create content, write, lead, or organize. There is no single path to using your voice. For me, it meant stepping into leadership positions. It meant creating my own opportunities. It meant becoming the CEO of my own business. It meant starting something to support and uplift others. It meant hosting workshops. It meant speaking. It meant creating something for young people to feel seen, heard, and empowered. Being an uncommon speaker doesn't mean doing it alone. It means having your purpose and your direction. Your direction is how your purpose becomes action. The third step is building a support system. Because the truth is, using your voice is hard. It means putting yourself out there. It means being vulnerable. It means sometimes being the only person in the room willing to say something. It can sometimes mean standing alone. It can mean being misunderstood, outgrowing people, or sometimes losing connections simply because you chose to speak up. And that can feel lonely. That is why you need someone in your corner. You need support. People to listen to you, people to encourage you, and remind you why your voice matters when you start to doubt it. For me, that has been my family, my mentors, and the communities I'm a part of. These are the people who encourage me, challenge me, and stand beside me. Being an uncommon voice doesn't mean doing it alone. It means having the courage to stand up and the people to stand beside you. As I grew, I began using my voice more. Not without fear, not perfectly, but consistently. I spoke about Indigenous history and culture. I advocated for Native representation, and I mentored youth who were trying to find their voices. And I realized something important, that when one person speaks, it doesn't create just a moment, but it creates a ripple effect. Because when someone sees you using your voice, especially someone who shares the same background or experiences as you, it changes what they believe is possible. They begin to think, maybe I can do that too. Using your voice is going to be hard, but you have to remember this. Know what you stand for. Know how you're going to use it, direction. And third, find your support system. And then speak. Speak when your voice shakes. Speak when it feels uncomfortable. And speak when it would be easier to stay silent. Because the truth is, this world does not need more silence. It needs more uncommon voices. And yours is one of them. Speak anyway. Thank you.